Hi there, Mark Jabin here, Medical Director for the Haywood County Health Department. Let's talk about this pandemic. Continuing the series now, Why Even Consider Vaccination, which is about how to make a truly informed choice. In the first two segments, we looked at the importance of relative risk in making your decision. And in the second, how the inevitability trap can affect one's judgment. In today's third video, how concerned should we be about how fast these vaccines were developed? So please share this with someone you care about. Now, many people have concerns that vaccine development was all too rushed, that corners were cut, and we've not had enough time to know all we should know about these vaccines. Well, first, with vaccines, understand that a company develops their product, then tests it, then gets approval, then manufactures it, then makes it available. And this makes sense because why invest the money to manufacture a product until you know it can be used? So the process goes one step at a time. In this case, many of these steps could happen at the same time because the federal government guaranteed the financial risk. It was just that important. So once developed and after initial testing showed enough promise, manufacturing began while studies continued. Secondly, the testing process goes through several phases, each step adding to the knowledge about efficacy and side effects. For each of the currently approved vaccines, more than 30,000 people participated in each of the trials. Trials are based on two groups. One gets the vaccine, one does not. No one knows which group a person is in. The results are based on how many people in each group get the disease. Now, in most cases, it takes a long time to recruit enough people to participate. In this case, however, there were more than enough people who chose to be part. It was just that important. But also, if the disease is rare or not very prevalent, it takes a long time to get enough people in each group who get the disease. In this case, no problem. There was plenty of virus to go around. Third, the basic platform for each, mRNA for Moderna and Pfizer, and viral vector for J&J, had been used in other applications, so developers were not starting off from scratch. The mRNA platform had been used in cancer medications, for instance, and the viral vector in other vaccines. Much was already known about how each of those worked. So now all of these factors contributed significantly to how fast these vaccines could be made available. Corners were not cut. Each went through multiple layers of trials with large numbers of people. It was fast because there was focus, there was enough people, there was enough disease. But it did leave a question about long-term effects that might emerge, because the rarer the side effect, the longer it can take for it to show up. Something that occurs on the order of 1 out of 100,000 might take many hundreds of thousands of instances to even appear. The standard way this is managed is what's called post-approval study. The manufacturer commits to continued study over time to detect these, if any. And in the case of these vaccines, that's at least 2 years. And by the way, this is the same for every approved medicine and treatment you take. So when someone suggests that this all happened too fast, find out what part they are referring to. And if the concern is anything other than rare side effect identification, you can share what all came together that enabled this rapid development, testing, approval, and availability. But if the concern is about side effects, then it's time to talk relative risk, as we talked about in the first of this series. Emergency use authorization was granted because the risks were so high and the benefits shown to be substantial. It was just that important. And at this time, we have 10 months of experience. These vaccines have shown to be as effective as the trial suggested. Marked reductions in the kind of serious illness that lands people in the hospital and in death. In Haywood County, without vaccination, about 1 out of every 15 people have gotten infected. And among those vaccinated, it's more like 1 out of 10,000. And if you don't get infected, you don't run the risk of getting sick for weeks or months, the dreaded long COVID, estimated to happen in 1 out of every 3 people who contract COVID. You know, identified serious side effects have been few. Life-threatening side effects, extremely few. In Haywood County, we have not had a single serious reaction with around 30,000 people receiving the vaccine. Across the country, anaphylaxis, the most serious immediate side effect, has occurred on the order of 2 to 11 per million vaccinated. So if the concern is long-term side effects we just don't know about yet, pause and think relative risk. Because there's risk either way. Rare possible side effects months or years from now, or infection, illness, and worse. right now. That decision is yours, and now you can make your own truly informed one. So be well and be careful, especially right now.